So let me just go through this presentation. So I did this presentation for Cure Brain Cancer Foundation supporters, and Jonathan Parkinson attended, and thought this would be a really good kind of summary in simple terms of what the research means. So there's currently faster and more sophisticated genomics technology. So that means it's much more simple to screen a genome than it ever has before. So that means we can understand what your genes are more than we've ever been able to do before. The Human Genome Project took 14 years and cost $14 billion to screen the first genome. And now patients can do it for $1,600 each. So that means it's becoming much more common, and we have a lot more information about brain cancer than we ever have before. There was the Cancer Genome Atlas that was done, a worldwide project to understand all different types of cancer, and the first cab off the rank was brain cancer. And as a result, we now know more about brain cancer in the last 3 years than we have ever known. And so things are really taking off from there. We understand a little bit more about the mutations that are involved. As a result, there's been a move to treat cancer as a pan-cancer. So rather than where your cancer is located, so if it's in your brain or if it's in the pancreas or wherever it is not as relevant as what type of genetic mutations that cancer has. So, for example, there might be a BRAF mutation, I know this is quite technical, that is found in melanoma. And as a result, they're starting to trial those type of melanoma drugs on brain cancer patients if they have that same type of mutation. So targeted therapy is really the way that therapy is going at the moment. They're looking for making sure that the right patients receive the right treatments. And as we know more about the mutations that that are in these cancers, we can understand what type of drugs will be the best. So maybe which drugs will respond to which types of treatment, because there's no point in giving someone a chemotherapy or something, for example, that's not going to work. And so we know a little bit more about the side effects, and we know about how it's working, so that we make sure that everybody's being treated appropriately. Ooh. My slide has slipped a bit. So another really interesting area is immunotherapy. And this is harnessing the body's own immune system to treat the cancer. And in melanoma, as an example, that was always a really difficult disease to treat. And they've seen some really significant improvements in survival using this immunotherapy. And the clinical trial that we were just talking about is using immunotherapy type compounds. And there's lots of different types of immunotherapy. Some are more successful than others, but basically people are realising now that the immune system does play a really important role in cancer. One of the most significant things from our perspective, from Cure Brain Cancer, and we're seeing around the world in a number of different diseases, is the real power of the patient. So patients are more willing to share their data, they're more willing to participate and provide comments and feedback, and if we can capture that, it's a really, really powerful thing. So we've seen the HIV movement in the 1980s, when all the patients started to join together, we really saw some significant benefits there. Also, breast cancer, really loud voice, really loud advocacy voice, and what we're trying to do is help create like a patient registry and create a bit of bulk and a bit of noise. And one of the examples is Barry Littlefield and I presented to the Senate recently about access to new drugs for brain cancer. And we're starting to really get a voice heard. So it's all thanks to the patients coming together. Another area where we're going to see significant differences is learning from all cancer patients. So currently we learn about patients that are on clinical trials. I think statistically about 5% of patients are on clinical trials. If we can start using electronic health records and really data mining the large number of patients, we will start grabbing a lot more information. Also knowing that cancer is not it's not an Australian disease, it's not a New South Wales-based disease. It's a global disease, and there are people around the world who have the similar types of disease that we need to be learning from those people. Also, think of big countries like the UK and the US. They're spending billions of dollars on this research, and it's no different to the type of cancers that we have. So we're really trying to bring the world together and learn from what these other people are doing so that we can bring treatments to Australian patients as quickly as possible. Now, this is a piece about clinical trial structure. I have actually just arrived back from the US yesterday. I flew back in. We were talking about innovative new clinical trials. So we know that one of the fastest way to accelerate treatments to patients is to bring to start as many clinical trials as possible, because then patients will have access to trials as soon as possible. So basically not having to wait for pharmaceutical marketing access and all that kind of thing. But we know that the clinical trial structure is fairly difficult. So you might have 3 years and then you'll find out what the results were of that trial. And that's not good enough. This is a really difficult disease. It hasn't had much improvement in the last 30 years, but now we really know a lot more than we ever have before. So the traditional clinical trial system would go for 3 years. Is the drug working? If not, after 3 years, that was kind of, you kind of put those 3 years behind you. That's a lot of time. We are looking at a type of trial called an adaptive clinical trial, and this is a massive undertaking that we've started globally, working with our global partners. And what we're trying to do is ensure that we can get as many drugs through the system as quickly as possible. And I guess the analogy is, you're driving with your eyes open, so you're not being blinded for 3 years. You're working out what works. How do we put more people on the treatment that does work? Let's not use the ones that aren't working straight away, and we can start moving things a lot more quickly. And that is a lot more of an incentive for pharmaceutical companies to put their blockbuster drugs, because basically we believe that there is a chance that there's something out there already, and we need to repurpose those drugs and make sure we can see whether those drugs are as effective in brain cancer as we've seen in other cancers. So it'll be done taking less time and less money, and so effectively that's much more of an incentive for pharmaceutical companies to start working in the area, and then we can make sure we get the right therapy for the right treatments. And if we fail, we want to do so quickly, because that's the most important thing. So just in summary, we're seeing faster and more sophisticated genomics technology. Lots more people are interested in the genomics of their cancer. We're treating the mutation of the cancer rather than whereabouts in the body it's located. We're trying to test drugs much more quickly and make sure that they're much more effective. And we know that patients really want to take their own risk-benefit assessment. People know what they're willing to do, and we want to respect that point of view. We also know that there is a massive untapped possibility in cancer care generally. So just to let you know, our Cure Brain Cancer has undergone a strategic change over the last 3 years, and as a result, we are much more global. So this is our scientific advisory committee that we're really proud of, and they have been very helpful for us to really bring new treatments to Australia and make sure we're supporting the best research that we can. We've got a number of internationals, so Webster Cavanagh from California, and he's one of the most established brain cancer researchers in the world. Jan Buckner is the head of oncology at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, and he is the head of the Global Alliance Clinical Trial System. Mark Rosenthal, head of medical oncology and the chair of Cancer Trials Australia down in Melbourne. Mustafa Khazrau, who's actually just moving up to Sydney to work with Helen Wheeler, head of medical oncology at Royal North Shore. And then Inder Verma is one of the most respected scientists in the world. I can't believe we've got him to help us. He's from California as well. So, we're really trying to do as much as we can, and we've just committed about $8 million to research in Australia with the intention of accelerating treatments to patients as quickly as possible. We just did a new grant round, and this is the video I want to show you actually of just some of the work that we are supporting. So, just to give you on a graph where these people are that will be speaking, and I'll just play the video. I might need a bit of help with the Mac, actually. I'm not a Mac user at all. Actually, Barry, you could do this. Thank you so much. Just the video, yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, that one.
This one?
Yeah. Thank you.
A lot of people that I meet outside of work, they sort of don't have an idea of what researchers do, but it's really exciting trying to explain it to them
Just turning the volume up.
Very complex cancer.
Yeah, we'll start again.
A lot of people that I meet outside of work, they sort of don't have an idea of what researchers do, but it's really exciting trying to explain it to them.
It's a very, very complex cancer, extremely complex. It's these multi-factors that apply to the progression of brain cancer, specifically as well glioblastoma. There's no one-hit wonder like the magic bullet.
No real cure for a lot of brain cancer, which is something that is, it's fascinating to budding young scientists, I suppose.
The problem with the tumour is it's very diverse, even within an individual patient, that they'll have a whole lot of different genetic alterations driving the same tumour. So, we're going to need very broad therapies.
I think the biggest change that I've seen in my professional career has been the incorporation of research and particularly clinical trials into the frontline treatment of children.
The things that have excited me the most about brain cancer research at the moment is coming out of the field of immunology. To actually be able to vaccinate against a brain tumour, I think is beyond our wildest dreams, but it's happening now.
And knowledge of brain cancer has grown enormously in the last 2 or 3 years. Certainly we understand the disease better. I have no doubt we'll be able to develop new and better ways of targeting disease quite rapidly over the next 4 or 5 years, but it remains an enormous challenge.
Community for brain cancer specialists and research is pretty small in Australia, and I see this as an opportunity to try and build the research not only within Australia and between Australian researchers, but also to work with the international brain cancer researchers, draw some of the expertise from overseas and bring it to Australia, and for Australians to participate in international research.
I don't think there would be a day goes by without me being in contact with someone elsewhere in the world.
Cure Brain Cancer have been absolutely amazing with the way that they've brought together collaborations from international and national. We've never seen this before.
It's really easy to collaborate with people here. That's what I found comparing with my experience in Europe. And it's easy to get access to samples from the neurosurgeon, to machine or equipment or tools from other scientists. It's really, really easy, I think, to work together. That's what I like working in Australia.
I'm good at tumour banking. Terry's fantastic at looking at EGFR and specific biomarkers. The Brisbane group are brilliant at their animal models. So working all together collectively, we can move things faster. Watch this space because it's a really exciting space to be in right now.
Well, I'm sure we were going to have the question session at the end, but perhaps we'll divide it because there may well be questions from that. Our technician has asked that we use the microphone. So do we have a question for Michelle? Any questions? Yes?
When can we have a vaccination for the brain tumour? Not yet.
So yeah, to clarify what was being talked about there, it's a therapeutic vaccination, so it's a treatment as opposed to being vaccinated against it. So if someone has a tumour, they're working on how to get rid of it using vaccination.
So it's not yet.
Not ready just yet, but it's in the works.
Any other questions? You know, oh, here we are.
Just a simple question. Can we have blood test and find out everyone can do it?
It's a blood.
Cancer, brain cancer.
So that's one of the really interesting areas people are working on at the moment, is actually doing a blood test to diagnose cancer, and we think that will be amazing in terms of, so much less invasive than a brain biopsy and much less stressful. So yeah, we're supporting research in that area.
It's not there.
Not there yet. But I did see yesterday that they had developed a biomarker for ovarian cancer, which was all through the news.
Do you do much research?
Could I ask you to use the microphone?
Do you do much research with identical twins on this sort of area?
So we not very big, as in cure brain cancer is not huge in that space. So we haven't done any studies, but I'm not sure if they have worldwide. I know that in the UK they do quite a lot of epidemiological studies, and there actually is a family study that's ongoing. I think that I do know a bit about. I can put you onto those people.
Any other questions?
just have a statement really rather than a question, and it just picks up on something that Michelle said earlier on, was about patient power, and because everybody here is either connected to a patient or a carer, and that's what we've seen in other cancers, is that, you know, the collective power of patients actually agitating for change can actually make that change happen. Now, it's very difficult in brain cancer because of for many people, the very short duration of disease and the high care needs around that. But I would encourage everybody, if they can, and you've probably been in some of these other sessions today where you've heard of things that are happening, the more that people get up and actually, I guess, state your case, or perhaps even contact us or Cancer Council or whoever, Cancer Australia as well, to state your case and what you want to see happen. It's really important if you can do that. So it's more of a case about just really saying that, you know, we support patients completely, but that power is, I guess, in all of our hands to make that happen.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, I think there's one blessing. We talk about the sheer volume of people who have breast cancer and who survive and have support networks around them. So there's a very big voice for those people. But this is starting to happen now, even with the smaller number of people with brain tumours. And even more significantly, the health professionals who are working all know each other intimately, you know, and that's globally, so that they can contact people in America. We're not getting second best treatment in Australia, we're getting world leading treatment. The protocols are the same across the Western world. So we're not lagging behind there, and we have the benefit of an intimate research team and an intimate group of professionals who are all in touch with each other on a regular basis, and I think that's really very important for patients.
Yep.
So just one thing, just pick it up on that. I think it's absolutely correct, but where we are lagging is in treatments. So one of the issues around, and this is what Michelle was saying earlier on, we went down to the Senate earlier on about 3 or 4 weeks ago to actually make the case that it's completely unacceptable that a treatment will be available in the US 3 to 5 years before it is here, if at all. I'll just leave you with that.
This is why we're pushing for experimental access, so early access through clinical trials.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lorna's just setting up at the moment, and for those of you who don't know Lorna Brien, she's the manager of Cancer Support Unit at the Cancer Council.
A lot of people that I meet outside of work, they sort of don't have an idea of what researchers do, but it's really exciting.
Remains an enormous challenge.
Lorna's role at the Cancer Council is to manage the Cancer Support Unit, and the programs included in her remit are the hotline, which I'm sure most of you will be familiar with, the Cancer Connect peer support, telephone support groups, Cancer Connections, and the external support group leader training. These programs are to improve the well-being of people with cancer and by helping them to normalise their experiences and concerns and helping to reduce the sense of isolation, fear, stress and worry that come with those diagnoses. She also helps with enabling people to cope better with the circumstances they find themselves in. It's lovely to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm Lorna and I work for the Cancer Council, as Kay has said, and I'm going to just talk about some of the practical things that the Cancer Council can do to help you. The Cancer Council works in research and in information and support, and we have lots of programs which I'm going to talk about. Is it an up or down? I'm so sorry. I'm just so dead in computer stuff. Is it one of these? How do I get it to move? Right. That's right. That's right. What's right? That is it the other right? Sorry. This right? Is it the shift button?
No, the arrow.
The arrow.
Leave it there, Lorna, and just give us the benefit of your
I just need... so the Cancer Council has over 20 programs that provides information. We have our 13, 11, 20 helpline service. So it's not me, thank goodness. That makes me feel better. And our helpline is staffed by oncology health professionals who can talk to you about any aspect of... Just left and right. So this is an overview of some of the programs that I'm going to talk about. The 131120 provides information and support, and it's a gateway into the Cancer Council's programs. As I said earlier, we're staffed by oncology professionals, and we're able to connect with anybody that's affected by cancer. And we can also provide you with information, literature, or some booklets. One of the programs that I think you'll find really helpful for you going forward is our pro bono, which is a legal. We have access to legal companies that can help you manage your power of attorney, your wills, accessing your superannuation, any of those practical things that Karen and Marina spoke about earlier. We can connect you up, and it's a free service. We also have our financial assistance, which this is another fantastic program that gives up to $250. It's a once only benefit, but it can help pay for your mobile phone, food, fuel, or taxi vouchers. Last year we helped over 1,800 people, and we provided over $440,000 in assistance through this program. And again, this can be accessed by calling 131120, and we'll be able to work with you. The other part about this program is that we can actually set up some payments for you for your energy or your water bills or your rates, so we can help take some of that burden off the financial worry that was mentioned earlier. We also have financial counselling, so we can actually put you in contact with somebody, a qualified financial counsellor who can talk with you about budgeting and how to manage your mortgage, and it's available through the major hospitals in Sydney. Another fantastic thing is that we have a program that's a no interest loans, and things, when you get diagnosed with cancer, it doesn't happen when everything's going great, and your washing machine might break down, your fridge, your microwave, something happens. Well, we can provide you with up to $1,200 personal loan to help with white goods or travel to treatment or car repairs or bond payments. And again, you can access that by calling 131120, and you pay back the $1,200 over a period of time that's negotiated. Another thing that I heard talked about earlier was about the cost of transport to treatment. We can assist with supporting people to treatment, and we've actually advocated with the government to get the IPTAS program, where we can get some financial assistance for travelling to treatment. And last year, I just thought I'd share this. Last year we helped over 5,500 people, patients and carers, to treatment. We travelled 628,000 kilometres, and we paid, as well as this, $123,000 in paid assistance with cab charges or petrol. We also have access to home help, so if you're looking for somebody to mow your lawn, do your washing, any of those practical things, if you call 131120, we can assist with that. And last year we helped 656 people with some home help. So there's some practical tips to help you not just do this on your own, that we have a major role to play in your cancer care. Another area that the Cancer Council can assist in is accommodation. People that have to travel between far west or southern regions to city hospitals. We have accommodation facilities throughout New South Wales where we can assist. So we also support many facilities in New South Wales. I just mentioned a little bit ago was about the in-home support, and we work with volunteers to provide practical and social support, and it's just to help light housework, cooking, cleaning, shopping, getting care or respite. Just take some of the pressure off. There's no judgment. It's about just trying to make that time that you're going through, we can try and ease that burden. And that's our role, is to be able to provide some practical support. We also have cancer information centres throughout local treating hospitals, and they're staffed by trained volunteers, and they can also help connect you to their services via the 131120. So if you happen to be in one of the hospitals that have one of these, go in and talk to them, and they'll connect you back to the 131120, and then we can help you with some financial assistance, transport to treatment, some accommodation, or some practical home help. So we've tried to make it as accessible as we can, and so this is another port to get information. Support is a really vital part of the treatment and what people are going through, and I believe that people need to talk to someone. Maybe not this cute little thing, but I kind of thought it was a bit me as my younger age. So some of the support that we offer is our counselling program, and we have a subsidised or free one-on-one counselling. So if you call 131120, we'll connect you up to a counsellor up to 6 sessions, and these can be held over the phone or face-to-face. And as I said, the referrals are through our helpline. We have this fabulous program called Cancer Connect, and this is a one-to-one peer support telephone, and this can be for newly diagnosed people undergoing cancer treatment. And it's talking to somebody that's walked the walk. They can provide that. I've been there, this is what you're going through. Whilst we all really like to hear from the professionals, that person that's been in the shoes before really seems to offer that valuable support. And so we'd really encourage you to access the Cancer Council and talk to somebody that's been in this situation. One of the delegates before spoke about support groups. The Cancer Council does offer telephone support groups, especially for brain cancer. And you can access this via 131120. And this is a small intimate group of no more than 7 group members, where you talk to a trained facilitator and just talk about those issues that you're experiencing. And they're held twice a month. We have the support group that Kay was referring to, and this is in local communities, and it's face-to-face groups where we talk about the support that's needed and just troubleshooting some of those everyday experiences that that people may be having. We do support group leader training, and we're all getting into the digital space, the new thing. I'll catch up by next week, I hope, which is left and right. The Cancer Connections is our online community, and this is a national website where you can blog or chat or part of a group for anybody that's a patient, survivor, or young adult, carers, and it's a discussion forum. And that we're looking to add more tools, and some of the conversations that I've heard today, we're really going to be talking about that when we get back, to build this into this platform, and that's via the Cancer Connections. And so then we have some other programs, Living Well After Cancer program, which assists survivors and carers, and it's psychosocial information and discussion, and it's driven by volunteers and survivors. And again, you can access that program through 131120. As spoken about this morning in the main talk was about employment and work, and we have a employment and return to work resource, and we can have a workshop about helping you get back to work, or how to manage with your employer, and we really do like to work with people about trying to get back to work. We have an Enrich program, which is to improve your lifestyle. It talks about behaviours for both survivors and carers. And it's a 6 face-to-face education and skill development. And this is just getting back to being strong and well. young adults, we do work in young adults, talking about cancer and how to manage it, and about caring for someone. And we have these fabulous resources, our booklets, and you would have seen them on the tables. They're valuable, printed, and they now are online, and we have ebooks. And they're information for patients, their families and friends. And there's over 50 titles, and they cover anything from diagnosis to treatment to support. And they're also available in CDs, and we have a meditation and relaxation CD. These are free, and you can access them via our website, through the Cancer Information Centres, or here today, or if you wanted to call 13 11 20. We also have a library, and you can access the library via our website, and any books or journals or DVDs or videos that you're interested in. It's like your normal library. You just email or call, and our librarian will send the book out to you. You get a card of the due date, and the book comes. When you're finished, just return the book. We don't charge a late fee yet. The other thing is our website. It's a valuable resource for you, so please feel free to Google Cancer Council New South Wales, and all of the information that I've spoken about today is available on the website.